I am streaming this live on my YouTube channel, so I was able
All
to.
right.
I was
Well,
able,
I hope you don't. Well, let's see what happens.
I don't
Let's
care
see
what happens. I'm good.
All right. Now I'm going to bring on Laurel. I'm going to bring her on. Friends, what you're listening to here is we're getting things ready. Hello, Laurel. We're good to see you tonight. Are you looking wide awake and full of energy? Did you just come back from the gym or what?
Oh, no, just living the good life in Mexico. I don't have stress anymore.
All right. Well, very good. So, okay, so we got Laurel. Now we're gonna talk to Tracy. We're gonna bring Tracy on. Hello, Tracy.
Hi, how you doing?
Well, we're doing good, Tracy. My goodness, you guys are all sounding good. You're all looking good. You're all looking like movie stars tonight. So we're gonna get ready to get this program going. So I think we can get it going pretty soon. Now listen, don't leave us. Stay on the telephone line, and we'll go real light. They got a lot to say tonight. Friends, you've got to wake up and smell the coffee. You got to know that something's changing in America. These guys are going to be talking about it. So, okay, let me make sure all the clips are ready. Let's make sure all the mics are ready. And now we're going to be going live. So here we go. Let's do it.
You're on the Six Screens Telenetwork, earning the reputation of giving all the right ingredients, uninhibited, in exposing the hard, cold facts about the Watchtower Society. And now,
Well, just stay right with us, friends. We have got a great program coming up, as I said. Jimmy Bell and his friends. We're going to be talking a lot of what is happening as of late, going on in the world. You've got to know what's happening. I don't see where anyone can be totally oblivious to all of this. So Jimmy's coming on. By all means, stay in here with us. And we'll be coming up very shortly. They'll be coming on. Just getting a few clips added here. And like I said earlier, you got to be noticing something. You just can't say, well, nothing's really happening. I don't see anything. Well, these guys are going to be talking about it. Here they go. What your country can do for you. And what you can do for your country. What you can do for your country. Your country. Your country. Well, there you go. I mean, what can you do for your country? Are you happy with the way the country's going? Jimmy, come on, say hello to us.
Good evening, Rick. Good evening, Six Screens. Hope everyone's doing real well tonight. How's everybody? Laurel,
they're all doing good, Jimmy. We got a good crew on here tonight. All doing good.
Okay. Hey, yeah, can you go ahead and just throw Laurel and Tracy back on?
I'll put them back up. Yep.
Yeah, let's put them back up there. I'm not going to do a little monologue tonight, so I've decided to go ahead and bring them on with me this evening.
All right.
Right away. So, have you had a good week, Rick?
The week was really good. Jimmy, I am feeling. I don't know what it is. I'm getting adrenaline rush. I'm feeling very happy. We are making points. All of the activists, all of the ex-witnesses.
Yep.
Man, we are really doing a job on the witnesses. I'll tell you that right now. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, Watchtower is not happy right now. They are what we would call panicking right now. So that's what's going on with them. So yes.
So exciting to see this day, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We never thought it would happen. I was raised in it, and I'm 67 years old. And I never saw this coming. It's so good to see.
Yep. Rick?
It's happening fast, too, isn't it, Laurel? It's happening. I can't believe how fast it's happening. I've been doing this for 16 years, but in the last year, just in the last 6 months, the dynamics have changed.
Mm-hmm.
Something is just, I can't believe the amount of people that are getting out. And I can't also believe the things the Watchtower is saying. It's chasing people to the exit door.
Yep, it sure is. And I do believe there's a reason behind all of it.
That's what we're here for.
Exactly. All right, so you may go ahead and begin, Rick.
Yes, go ahead, do it, Jimmy.
Okay.
I'm here if you need me. Yeah, I'm here if you need me.
All right, well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to The Big Picture. This is where fearless minds prevail. I want to thank those who have stayed over from the JW News. Please stay on with us. Give our show a chance. There's a reason why I felt moved to do this show and to put it on this platform. There are a lot of new people coming out of Watchtower. There's a lot of people that are still stuck in Watchtower that are PMO. And they realize that there's stuff going on in Watchtower, and they understand that. But for a lot of folks, and well, I'll just say for a lot of folks, they don't understand that there is a bigger picture to what they're experiencing. Now, why do I say that? Now, for those that may have not seen After the Storm, may have never seen any of my other videos, there's a reason why I'm doing this. And so I'm going to restate the purpose of what this show is about. First off, this is not a conspiracy show. Basically, what we do is we bring you the facts and the evidence to the best of our knowledge that we can. Now, if we get something wrong, somebody correct us. I have no problem being corrected on anything that you think may be wrong. But we do our best to bring facts and truth. And the reason why I've taken this as a personal journey of mine is because I was in Watchtower for 40 years. Laurel was in it for 50 some years. Tracy in it for 40 some years. So we understand what it's like to be lied to. Do you like the fact that Watchtower's been lying to you? Do you like the fact that anybody's been lying to you? No, we don't like that. And so when I woke up from Watchtower and realized that I had been lied to for 40 years, I'll just be straight up. That pissed me off. And so after I started going down and learning the things about Watchtower, the false prophecies, the fake doctrine, all the crap that they do, I was like, wow. And then of course, we did the roundtable and we exposed Watchtower. We did a lot of good, helping a lot of folks come out of Watchtower and helping them get through that. Now, it got to a point in my life to where I felt like I had done what I needed to do in that arena. And so then I woke up in March of 2020 to what was going on in the world. And I treated this the same way I did with waking up with Watchtower. I went down the rabbit holes. I did the research. I would stay up to 2 o'clock in the morning just researching. And literally, since then, I've researched every day. Now, that's something that Watchtower doesn't want people to do, is to research. They don't want people to ask questions. So I began to ask questions and look for those answers. And when I found out that the things that are going on in this world mirror what Watchtower does, that just blew my mind. I'm like, holy crap, Watchtower is a propaganda arm of the globalist deep state agenda. And so the reason why I wanted to do this is because I want to help. And I'm going to ask Tracy and Laurel that same question here in a second. But I do this because I want to help you see that there is a big picture out there. It's not just getting stuck in the Watchtower bubble or getting stuck in the bubble of the XJW community. Yes, you have to heal from that. I understand. But after you heal, you got to keep growing. Just because you heal doesn't mean that the growing stops. And when I'm talking about growing, I'm talking about the mentality. Because one of the things that we said on the roundtable was the last piece of indoctrination to wash away from a former Jehovah's Witness's brain is that I always got to be right. I got the answers. I know everything. I'm here to tell you, we don't. We don't know everything. And these people, like Rick said in JW News tonight, he said, if a cult is not controlling you, they're not doing your job. They're not doing their job. Yes, he was making reference to Watchtower, but like I've also said, I woke up from one cult and realized I was living in another one. So that would make Rick's statement very true. A cult that is not controlling its people is not doing their job. And how much control have we seen over the last 2 years around the world? Everybody has experienced it. So my job, the reason I do this is I want to help. I want to help you be able to use logical thinking, use common sense, ask questions. And it's okay if you don't know something. There's other people out there that know it and will help you. So I just wanted to put that out there tonight because some folks may not have seen stuff that I've done before. And another thing that I do is I'm not a butthead or an a-hole, but I'm very bold in what I say. So just take it like that. I'm very bold at what I do. So, but Laurel, why did you decide to team up with us here at the Big Picture and be a part of this?
Basically the same thing. I was out from the Watchtower for 20 years before I even looked up information because I was too afraid to. And then once I started looking and going down the rabbit hole, and then I like you, I'd stay up sometimes all night and think, holy crap, I didn't know that, because they don't want us to think for ourselves. And so same thing, once I got to the bottom of all that, then when the world started shutting down and things started changing in the world a lot, then I thought, this is really weird. And I did this, and being raised as a Jehovah's Witness, we were never allowed to look into politics.
Yep.
It was just something we knew nothing about. And I thought, I love learning. I love learning. I grew up in the 1975 generation. So I only got a grade 9 education because my parents pulled me out of school because Armageddon was coming.
Mm-hmm.
So everything I've learned, I'm self-taught, and I just have this thirst for knowledge, and I just always want to learn and learn and learn. So when I had already found out everything I wanted to know about Watchtower, I started looking into politics, and the same thing, and you and I talked back then too, and I just could not get over how similar they were. It was like they're the same. They're one and the same. And then once I started doing the research and looking up, making sure this wasn't somebody telling me a lie, and then I started called by friends, like, so, or family even saying, oh, you're just being a conspiracy theorist. And I thought, well, no, I'm not. I've actually done my research. And then I looked up where the word conspiracy theorist comes from. And most people can find that. And that phrase wasn't even invented until President Kennedy was assassinated. Then the CIA made up that phrase to make people that dug deep and did the research, because too many people were wondering how one gunman could shoot him. And people that did their research, they wanted to make them sound crazy. So we were all conspiracy theorists. So
what you mean? You mean like Watchtower calling people apostates?
The same thing.
Is that the same thing?
Exactly.
Wait. So apostate material and conspiracy show, wouldn't that be the same thing?
Oh yeah, and they censor us just the same.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that in a second. All right. So why did you feel? So you like the decision you've made to join up with Tracy and Lori and me and do this and bring it to the XJW community?
Oh yeah, I've been wanting to to do something like this for a long time. I have so many family, so much family that is still in there. I mean, I've got aunts and uncles that are in their 80s, 90s, still alive, and they're still elders. They're still ministerial servants. They're still pioneers. They're still doing all that. And I think, how can you be that old and see all the changes that have taken place and all the hypocrisy and still stay in it? And my goal is I want to be able one day to help my family. I want to, and if they don't want the help, I can help other people. And this is a really good place to start.
Excellent. Okay, so before we get to Tracy, I want to touch on one point that Laurel made about the older people. Okay, so this is my theory on this, okay? So you can just agree to disagree with it or think about it. But we see a lot of the older folks that are still stuck in Watchtower, no matter what evidence is brought to them about how awful Watchtower is. They don't want to talk about it. They just don't want to accept it or anything like that. Okay. So, and there's also been the conversation, well, like my mom and dad they're in their 70s. And so some have said, well, maybe they just shouldn't wake up because then they would realize their whole life was a lie. And at 75 years old, that can be pretty devastating. I get that. So when I mirror it to my in-laws who are older and they just watch the news all the time, and it's like, I'll go over there and they'll say, well, Jimmy, did you see this on the news? I'm like, yeah, that's fake, blah, blah. What do you mean it's fake? And I'm like, oh God, I got to explain this to you. Okay. So I explain and they're like, I just don't get it. So my theory is this, and it applies to Watchtower and it applies to what's going on in the world, is I think that the older folks, the reason why they have such a hard time accepting the fact that Watchtower is a cruel and evil organization and that the news and the politics, that's all fake and crap and they don't care about us. I think the reason why they feel that way is because they have been stuck in the brainwashing longer than we have. This has been going on for decades and they have been exposed to it for so long that it's going to be hard for them to leave Watchtower or to wake up to the fact of what's going on in the world today. What do you think about that?
No, I agree. And I also agree that a lot of it is pride. I think that
Yes.
a lot, especially if they've been elders and they've been circuit overseers like a lot of my family has, or to Bethel or whatever. I don't know if they will wake up because I don't know if they're ever going to admit that it's wrong. I wish they would, but I've seen a lot of pride too.
Yeah. I agree with that. All right. So Miss Tracy, so what has brought you to do the big picture with us?
You know what? I just love researching. I am like the biggest nerd when it comes to research, and I can never get enough. It was funny because my husband, who's still in, by the way, he had got a poster, and it was like, well, what is this? What is this? And so then I started doing the research, and you realize that this is about Eastern religion, and that this is about the high level Freemasonry. And then you get different watchtowers throughout history, and it kind of tells a story about them. And I just knew something wasn't right because you know what really got me was when they said, do not do your own research. I thought, in cults, that's like the biggest red flag ever.
Yep.
But of course, and as soon as you get into the research, you realize that the biggest things that cults have in common is that utopia, that trying to get everybody to think outside of their shell, that the only way that they can get to utopia is through this man-made organization, which is, is so common. I mean, that's basically what the Nazis did. They said, all your problems are on these people. And then they said, if you want utopia, you want to have a perfect living. And they had all the TVs, the ads, the propaganda. It was all about this future utopia. And so people did horrible things because they bought into that idea.
Yep.
And that's kind of like the Watchtower. The more you buy into an idea of utopia and you form a mass formation with other people of the like mindset, you basically start viewing anybody who questions that mindset as the enemy. And that's exactly what the Watchtower has done to people who speak out about, like, for example, their published material, which is apostate now. So they even say that their material that they wrote, that they published, is apostate. I mean, it's completely moronic for any common sense, but I'm just so happy to be here, Jimmy. And Laurel, you look so beautiful today.
and Tracy, I just noticed on the live chat on YouTube, I can see it every now and again. The folks love your voice. They love your voice. So anyway, so that's the reason why I wanted to share our stories with you guys tonight, to let you guys know that we have no intention of misleading anyone. We have no intention of lying to anyone. We want to help. We want to help you grow. And, that's why we do what we do. Now, I want to talk about what happened to us 2 weeks ago, and this is going to lead into our next topic. And then we're going to take some calls. But 2 weeks ago, everyone knows that Rick got a strike on his YouTube channel, and that was because of our show. I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm just going to take it as a badge of honor, because there's a reason. If you're getting censored and kicked off of platforms, then you're over the target. Just simple as that. So yes, that did happen. So therefore, that's why we are not on Six Screens YouTube tonight. And, they tried to say that it was because of something else that was said, but I think that was so insignificant that I think it's another reason. I do believe, Rick knows that there are people out there, Watchtower agents, that watched apostate stuff, and they talk about it and they report it. So because of the show that we did last week, we went after Watchtower and we compared them to the deep state, of which they are a part of. And I'm thinking, I don't know if I'm right or not, but I'm thinking that somebody at Watchtower got their panties in a bind and decided to report the video. And I think that that's why we got taken down. Now, could I be wrong? Yeah, I could be. But it's just funny, because I have another show that I do, the Roundtable with the guys, and we talk about a certain subject in length, and those videos are still up. So it doesn't make sense to me why that happened to us, other than the fact that maybe Watchtower had something to do with it. So we're not going to talk about or say anything about that thing that YouTube doesn't want us to talk about. So if something happens to this show, then I would say, yeah, Watchtower had something to do with it, because I'm telling you, I'm going after Watchtower, and I don't care. I will say what I have to say. And that's just the way I do things. And so that goes into our topic on censorship. Now, the reason I wanted to bring that up is because it's kind of timely, because we got censored. And again, like Rick said in JW News tonight, if a cult is not controlling its people, they're not doing their job. So what better way to control people, control information, or the access of information to the people, by censoring ones that are telling the truth, or they're speaking against the narrative that they really want to push. So, Tracy and Laurel, in your minds, we know that fake news censors things. We know that social media does, because we've experienced it personally. Like I said, I've got 61 Facebook violations. I've been in Facebook jail a lot, so I don't care. But how is it that Watchtower censors? In y'all's mind, what do y'all feel about Watchtower and the way they censor things? Either one can go first.
Well, is it okay if I go?
Sure, Tracy.
So I just think that, Watchtower, I was comparing totalitarian governments and the way that they have actually taken away rights. And then I was comparing the Watchtower, and the Watchtower is like super authoritarian because not only do they they control how you dress, how you talk, who you associate with, what you wear, what you do in the bedroom. I mean, what movies you watch. Is there anything they don't control? I mean, they're like, I'm surprised they don't have them all wearing chicken hats.
Well, just on the show tonight on JW News, Rick was talking about Watchtower saying something about people wearing sandals now, and the holy jeans. So, Watchtower, that's controlling behavior. And of course, we know they control the information because, like you just said, Tracy, even Watchtower now, their old material that they wrote and they pushed as truth and coming from Jehovah at the time is now apostate material to them. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Laurel?
Well, I was going to say too that as far as I know, they're not printing any books anymore. Well, why would they do that? They're printing that's how they started out. They're a printing company.
Yep.
They're a printing corporation. They didn't start out as a religion. And now all of a sudden they started recalling books. They're not printing any more books. They're telling everybody to go online. Why is that? Because online, if they change their light on something or they change their mind on something, they can change it on the computer and nobody can go back and say that they were liars.
Yep.
Because that's the problem right now, I think, that Watchtower is having, is there's too many of us, like people, like I'm older than you guys, but there's too many of people like me that have been around and seen and know what they used to teach and how it has totally changed. And we're bringing light to it and they can't handle it, so they recall all their books. That's just like going back to the beginning of the century when they burnt the books. I mean, they've done that through history. They burn books. They don't want people to know their history. And that happens, and that's what Watchtower is doing. They might as well just have a great big bonfire and burn them, because they do not want the new people that are coming in, which are basically just born-ins. I mean, they're really not getting anybody else but born-ins.
Right.
And they don't want them to know the history.
No, they don't. And it's just funny. It's just funny to me that they want this information destroyed. All these old watchtowers, these old awakes, these old books, they want that all destroyed. And yeah, just like you said a second ago, I'm getting my train of thought here. Like you said a second ago, is they oh Lord, this has been one problem of being live. You forget your train of thought. But hold on, let me get it back a second. But hiding the information, like you said, on the computer, they can make changes to things on the computer. Whereas if someone's got the material, they can go back and look and say, hey, this is what you guys wrote. So by getting rid of those things, the people do not have the access to the information. Therefore, just like with what the type of world we're living in now, where everybody gets their stuff from social media, instead of burning a book, they shut your channel down, or they kick you off for a month. That's the same thing, folks. That's the same thing. So, but yeah, I wanted to talk about the censorship because it's going to lead into another subject we talk about tonight, but I'll come back to that here in a little bit after we take a couple of calls. Let me write this down so I don't forget. Okay. Rick, is there anybody online that wants to call in? Because we were going to take a call-in show tonight.
Yeah, go ahead,
I'd like
Troy.
to make a comment.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. When I was in the cult back in the 80s, and I used to have to work Saturday to get my time and a half to get the family to be able to eat. I used to have my former wife record the whole session, and then I would play it back at work, and I'd listen to it so I would get the information. Society came out and said, no more tape recordings. And the reason for that is they know that they're going to lie to the audience, and they don't want to get caught in their lies. Thank you.
Yeah, he's exactly right.
It's right.
Yeah, because for those that may be new to me, I caught a circuit overseer on camera, hidden camera, and 6 elders. And I've got them all recorded, and you ought to hear some of the things that these guys said, especially when they didn't know about them being recorded. Those are some really good videos, some of the most popular videos we did with the roundtable. So before we take another call, I do want to make this statement. I've never really done a lot of call-in stuff, so this would be kind of like the first time I've taken a few calls. But folks, I'm not here to argue with anyone. I'm not here to be contentious with anyone. I don't want to start I want to keep everything positive, fun, and uplifting, not only for us that are presenting this information to you, but also for the folks that are listening. And so if you really have good questions and you really want to learn something, please call in. If you're here just to start something, then please take it to another program or whatever. If it does happen that we get into a situation like that, I will just politely say, thank you for your call. Rick, can we go to the next caller? It's nothing personal. It's just, I want this to be fun and uplifting, and I'm not looking for contention. So now I will debate you. Don't get me wrong. As long as it's done respectfully and it's on both sides. So we'll see how that goes. So I just wanted to make that statement so everybody knew where I stood on that. Rick, we have anyone else?
Well, what I want to say, Jimmy, yeah, we do have a number of people coming into the Six Screens, lots of people on the telephone line. But I just wanted to speak up myself here before we bring some people in.
Okay.
I want to, what it is, and I'm trying to get people, we have, Republican people listening in. We have Democratic people listening in. We have libertarians that listen in. We have independents that listen in. And for some odd reason, the libertarians, they're here. They don't have too much to say. But as far as the liberals, a lot of them come on our Six Screens video suite, and we love them too. We love the liberals. But what it is they believe that, they don't really see a connection between the Watchtower and this new reset, or the new deep state, or however you want to call it, the New World Order. They're having a hard time seeing the connection on that. And I know your program, and we have another man that comes on as well as Reese. So they don't like it. But yet, Jimmy, I have to tell you that they have to realize that there is changes taking place right now in the world, and we're seeing it. And if you're not seeing it, you have your head buried in the ground.
Yep.
So, we don't want people to have to go down the rabbit hole as deep as can be. But I hope that they are beginning to see some changes in the world.
Rick, sorry, Rick.
Yeah.
Rick, that's what I was going to say about one. I forgot to say about the purpose of this show is the three of us on screen here. We've done hours of research, days, months. Hell, it's gone into years now. And there's other people that have done years of research. So what we're trying to do is give folks a fast track on researching. That's the reason. So you don't have, I'm not telling you not to go research or not to verify what I say. Hey, go do that. But we've done the research, and we can tell you, yes, there is a connection between Watchtower and the deep state globalist agenda. Just one second, Laurel, I got a thought.
Yeah.
So there is that connection there. And people are going to have different, I said this before, there's going to be different levels of waking up. When I woke up from Watchtower, and I had been, it was December of 2018, got around June, people started talking about Freemasonry and Watchtower. Now, this is going to be my personal experience. And for those that consider themselves liberals, please listen to this. All right. So, people were talking about Freemasonry. Well, I didn't know anything about Freemasonry. And I was running a Facebook group where I wanted no arguments. I didn't want people getting mad at each other and calling each other names. So this subject got into the Facebook group. And me being a moderator and admin, I didn't want it on the group. I was like, no, we can't be talking about this because it's just divisive. So I created another page for them to go talk about this stuff, which looking back now, I made the wrong move on that. But anyway, so when we did a roundtable episode and John said, hey, let's talk about Freemasonry, that was like in September, and I still wasn't there yet. I hadn't done the research yet. I thought it was just stupid, and yeah, there could be a connection, but I don't know. I don't know how there could be a connection. I don't see it. The same thing the liberals think now with Watchtower and Deep State. So we did this show. I didn't want to do it, but we did it. And I listened to the information that was in that show. And I was like, maybe this is a rabbit hole I need to go down. And that's what I did. And now I can actually talk about it. So for the folks that don't see a connection, you haven't done enough research. Just simple. That's honest to God. You haven't done enough research. You're still relying on what you've been told to believe. So I challenge you to go down those rabbit holes and do your research. Okay, Laura, what were you going to say? I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I was just going to say that I'm not even American, so I have, and like most people coming out of that cult, none of us are politically affiliated because we didn't know enough about politics. I'm Canadian. Basically all I knew is that our PM gets elected in, and that's it. I didn't really know anything. But the same thing, you start going down the rabbit hole, and first thing that came up is Freemasonry, and you realize that you don't have to, it's not one political party over another. They're all the same.
Yep.
We're not for one party and we're not for another party. They're all the same. The New World Order is part of the Illuminati. They're part of the higher ups, the elites. And when most people, and I understand it because I was like that for 20 years, most people, when they leave the Watchtower, they don't know what to believe anymore.
Yep.
And they a lot of them will become atheists, agnostic. I became agnostic. You don't believe in God anymore. You don't want to hear anything about it anymore because your head's been messed up.
Yep.
But what the first thing that everybody has to realize is the people that are involved in the New World Order, the World Economic Forum, the Bilderberg Group, go on and on. They have a religion. Whether you believe in religion or not, they do believe in religion.
Yep.
And their religion goes back to the beginning of time, and they are Satanists.
Yep.
Simple as that. They are all Satanists.
Yeah. Yeah. I was getting ready to point to you, Tracy, because this is right up your alley.
I love this type of talk. Actually, Luciferians,
Yes.
the Church of Heaven, Satanists. See, this was, of course, Russell's book. You see the pyramid on it. The reason that this is important is, of course, in the Freemasonry, the pyramid was part of the calculation. So pyramidology is one of the steps when it comes to Freemasonry. And so the Knight Templars were very involved in the prediction of the pyramid. So the 1914 actually came from the pyramid prediction. So then they tried to rearrange it into a different thing. So it's amazing when you have a book like this. I mean, Russell called the pyramid his stone witness. And so there's more than enough proof. And so the Luciferians, it is a spirituality like the Rosicrucians and stuff that was on this, you know,
Oh,
so you have, and then you have the Freemasonry sign of the Knight Templar, which is a higher level Freemason, one of the highest. And so then you understand that a lot of their religion is actually esoteric. So anyways, I'll
yeah. And the thing is, folks, is there's so much information out there that it's hard to figure out where to start looking. And so that's why I have called this, a big puzzle, because everything is connected. Watchtower is connected to the globalist deep state agenda. They are. You just got to figure out, okay, how? And you got to think about, is the governing body, are they the ones making all the decisions? Really? Do you really think that those 8 kooks in New York are making all the decisions, all the financial decisions, all the political decisions that have to be made? No, there's people higher up. So it's just like with our politics. Everybody gets so wrapped up in, oh, Democrat, Republican, Libertarian. That's what they want. They want that division. These puppets, these puppet masters, the elites, they want us fighting against each other. Hang on just a second, Tracy. They want us fighting against each other. And so if people will, and I come to this decision about a year ago, that I'm not going to argue with anybody on Republican versus Democrat, because I don't care. Because when I do that, I'm doing exactly what these puppet masters want us to do, to be divisive with one another. So if people will start to understand that it's the people of Earth, humanity, versus these elites, that's what it is. And it's not just here in the United States, it's worldwide. It is worldwide. Do you see everything? Do you see what's happened in Sri Lanka the last couple of days? Do you see what's happening in Amsterdam? Do you see what's happening in Canada? Do you see what's happening in London? I mean, literally everywhere, the deep state is getting beat because people are waking up. And that is their worst fear. These globalists, that's their worst fear, is people waking up. Oh, what's that sound like? Oh, Watchtower. What's Watchtower's biggest fear? For people waking up and realizing that they're a freaking cult. It's the same thing. Tracy?
I was just gonna say, and their magazines also reflect their association with the globalists, because, like, for example, this was one of their earlier magazines, The Golden Age. Now, at the time this was made, the largest secret organization was the Hermetic Age of the Golden Dawn. And so that was part of the Egyptian worship. And again, it's and solar type of worship. So then in another one they were having consolation. So this is, if they're doing moon and sun worship, consolation would be a good, to nod to it and stuff. And they were constantly nodding to occultists who had these agendas. See, you have in this one, you have paradise restored for all mankind. And then you have Milton's Paradise Lost, Paradise Found. Now this was what was his name? Milton was a famous occultist. So, they have so many nods that they're part of this secret order that it's really, you can't dispute it.
I'm going to tell you folks, Tracy right here, you do not want to debate her on this stuff. You just ask her questions and learn from her, because she knows this stuff. As you can see, she's brought evidence, and that's what we're about here at The Big Picture. We want to bring evidence, facts, truth, because you're not getting it on the media, and you're not getting it from your politicians, and you're not getting it from Watchtower. So wouldn't it be nice to go somewhere where they're actually trying to give you some true information? If you will open your mind up a little bit, and we've all had to do it, to to accept something different than what you've been told to believe. Simply put. So, all right, Rick, do we have any callers on the line?
Let's do it.
I'd like a couple questions.
Go
Okay.
ahead, come on, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Michael. I just got to ask you, when you say a globalist agenda, what is the globalist agenda?
Okay, well, I tell you what, Michael, I appreciate the question. Did you, by chance, happen to see the first episode of The Big Picture?
No, I didn't.
Okay. I'll go ahead and let you know, if you want a lot more information on that, watch the first episode that we did on The Big Picture. But I'll answer the question. The globalist agenda is to basically usher in what they call the New World Order or the Great Reset. Have you heard those terms before?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. And so the Great Reset is set up for these elites, the Davos Group, the World Economic Forum, the WHO, the IMF. They all want to have power over mankind. They want to be the ones controlling everything. They want a one world government, and they want them to be running it. And everybody else all around will be subjects to that government. Now, I could get deeper on it, but we got a few videos we've done that can explain that. Go ahead.
That's why the scriptures say our fight is not against flesh and blood, but against the demonic powers of the world. Is that correct?
Yeah, I agree with that. Tracy, do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, it says that our fight isn't with this world, but the principalities. Of course, that's not what the Watchtower said. The Watchtower taught that everybody was evil, which isn't what the Bible says, of course.
Yeah. So yeah.
Also, I got more questions if you don't mind taking them.
Go ahead, Michael.
You also say that the Watchtower donates to the United Nations. Under what company do they do that?
Oh, okay. So I don't have that information with me at the moment. I know Lori has it. Lori, are you actually on the line?
I'm just gonna say I've got that. I've got it here.
Go ahead, Laurel.
I've got the letter here that comes right from the United Nations because too many people had been. I've got the letter here that comes right from the United Nations.
No, that's you again. That's weird. That was weird.
Yeah, that's weird. Anyways, they're calling themselves the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of New York. And there were so many questions sent to the United Nations about whether the Watchtower had been NGOs. And this was a letter sent back. It's an official letter right from the United Nations. I printed it out. And they gave that they were not involved in a library program. They were actual NGOs. And they've got 3 times here written down Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of New York.
So that's the name of the company that they use it on that one. Okay. Tracy?
Yeah, and then...
Oh, go.
Yeah, you know the company name, Watchtower Bible and Tract Society. That's what it's under.
Yeah.
Yes, from what we're seeing, yes.
Okay.
Tracy?
Last thing I want to say is that there is one guy who knows more about this subject than anybody I've ever seen and heard of in my life. And that's Alex Jones, Infowars.com. He has films, he has reporters, he has videotapes, and he talks about the same things that you're talking about, but takes it to a completely another level. And I suggest that you send followers to that site also, so they can get some more information.
Yeah, Tracy. Before I end, yeah, Michael, I like Alex Jones's stuff. I know he's been demonized by the media and everything, but this is a man that's done a lot of research for a lot of years, and a lot of the stuff that he's talked about, I know about. But for the sake of the show and the way we're trying to take it, there's so many people out there that they have no clue what we're talking about. So it's kind of like it's kind of like a teacher in a class. You know, you're teaching a new subject, you start slowly. And then by the end of the year,
Yeah.
you've built it up to where people can start seeing and making these connections. So, for those that are more awake than others, yeah, Alex Jones has got some great stuff. Um, I, yeah, so
It took me almost 20 years of studying and research to kind of put it all together.
yeah,
But finally, it did. It takes a long time. It really does.
it does, Michael. And that's the point that we're trying to make. And that's the reason why we're doing this show, is because here you have Michael who spent 20 years researching. You have Tracy and Laurel that have spent years of researching. That's why we're here, to help you, to give you a head start so it doesn't take you 20 years to figure out what's going on. Now, yeah, Tracy, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say that as far as I remember, it was sometime back that came out that was about I don't know why that's.
Hey, Tracy, this is Rick Farron here at the Six Screens. I'm going to, you're coming through okay, but I think we can get a little bit better. I want to get a little bit better. Are you close to your microphone, are you?
Yeah.
Yes, it's a laptop.
Yeah, she did a laptop today, Rick.
All right, well, no, it's okay. I've just got, I'm just listening here. I can hear her. Jimmy's coming in really good. But, yeah, so, I mean, let's just go from there. You can just slow down a little bit, and let's see how that works. You're all doing a great job. I'm proud of all of you, but I just want to make sure everything's nice and clear for our listening audience.
All right.
So go ahead, Tracy. Yeah.
Go ahead, Tracy.
Okay. Yeah, so there was a letter that had came out, and it was about the UN actually being written letters to legal letters trying to get the UN to support them and what they felt was religious prosecution. So we should really find those letters because that's pretty important. So they were actually petitioning the United Nations to help their censorship.
Yep. And that's what the circuit overseer said. He said that, oh, there's times that we have to petition the UN to help us with one of our agendas. And he'll use the international conventions as an excuse in the video. But, you know, what else they got going on, you know? Laurel, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was going to just read, first of all, I was just going to say to the caller that, yeah, Alex Jones has excellent information, but we're starting out kind of light right now.
No, we could go deep. We could go deep.
but we're talking more to people that are just, they haven't looked into it yet, right? So we're starting light. We're starting at the bottom. We don't want to confuse people. We want people to follow along with us, and hopefully we can keep going with this. And as time goes on, we can get deeper and deeper. But we just want people to understand how we figured out that the two entities go together.
They absolutely
But I'm
do.
just going to read here what what it says right from the United Nations, what the NGOs do. And this is what Watchtower did. The NGO will share the ideals of the UN Charter. It'll have a demonstrated interest in United Nations issues and proven ability to reach target or specialized audiences, such as educators, media representatives, policymakers, and the business community. Have the commitments and means to conduct effective information programs about UN activities by publishing newsletters, bulletins, and pamphlets, organizing conferences, seminars, and roundtables, and enlisting cooperation of the media. So in order to be an NGO, that is what they had to do.
Yep. Sorry, I had to reach for my watch. I had to keep an eye on the time. I don't have it on my computer screen or on my phone because I got them busy at them. Yeah, and you can see that, you know, in the Watchtower started to change their tune a little bit. They weren't so dogmatic towards the UN You know, they kind of backed off of it, you know, because when we were in and we went through the daggone Revelation book, oh Lord, the UN was the worst thing out there. And it's funny that after a time, they started backing off of calling them this evil entity. I mean, they still try to do it, but it wasn't as bad as it was when we were in there. Tracy, did you? Yeah. Okay. All right. So we have any? Michael, thank you for your call. Did you have another question? Is Michael there?
Well, I think Michael disappeared.
Okay.
on us,
Thank you, Michael.
But no, we do have some others coming in here tonight. So why don't you muster up the courage and come on, say hello to Jimmy and his friends. Go ahead and run with us.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello? Yes.
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, Jim. This is Dick Borgie again.
Dick. Okay.
I'm enjoying the program very much. The Watchtower always claimed the United Nations was the harlot and the counterfeit kingdom of God. And they always claimed that Jehovah's Holy Spirit directed their organization. But they felt the need to go to the library, the Watchtower Library, to get information. Why couldn't they pray to Jehovah God and have Jehovah God, you know, their inspiration, give them the information that they needed? How come they had to go to the harlot? Thank you.
Exactly.
Right on.
Yeah. Why do they have to go there? You know. Yeah. Excellent comment. Thank you, Dick. Anyone else? Yeah. Please speak up, guys, because I'm telling you, we didn't do any backup on. We got one backup subject.
We got a couple of people. Let's go with the lady first. Go ahead.
It's your wife. Is that okay?
No, it's not okay.
Hi, Clarissa.
Hello. I want to tell you all that you're doing a super job.
That's Rick's
And
wife.
I totally support what you're doing. I'm just so grateful that you're working with the audience and you're just doing a super job of feeding them enough. And, you know, anything that these people say that you don't agree with, prove them wrong.
Oh, I
Do
can
your
do that.
research and prove them wrong. And I don't think you will. My question is, maybe to each one of you, is what is the most interesting thing that you've learned doing your research without going too far down the rabbit hole? Because I know that'll suck you in awfully fast. So, is there anything you want to share?
So your question to us is, what's the most interesting thing that we have found in our research?
Yes, for you personally.
Okay.
You all find things that we tend to specialize in or think is important.
All right. Let me think. Tracy or Laurel, y'all got an immediate reaction to that? I need to think about it. There's so
Tracy,
much.
go ahead. I know what yours is, but go ahead.
Go ahead, Tracy.
Okay, well, I was going to say when I was doing the biblical research on the history that they chose the Vulgate, the Catholic version, over the Septus Receptus, which was really interesting because they actually changed a lot of the divinity out of the Bible, the portion that they used, and it's based on Arius, who was an occultist who thought that was just a man. I thought that was really interesting.
Okay, Laurel.
I think the thing that really sent me down the rabbit hole was their depopulation agenda, which is so similar to Watchtower. Like we're going to talk about, we did last week talking about the Georgia Guidestones and how there's only going to be a certain amount, their plan is to only have a certain amount of people on Earth and have a slave class. And there's just so many similarities there. I mean, I could probably go on for an hour about the similarities about the depopulation and the mass genocide and all that kind of stuff. And I think that's what really got my attention first.
Yeah, I think for me, the first thing that sent me down the rabbit hole was wondering why the president at the time was getting so much hate. That was the first thing. I mean, it literally was. I was like, why is this president receiving so much hate from the media, from other politicians, from people in his own party? Why? And so I started going down. Now, the most interesting thing and mind-blowing thing that I've taken away from all my research is the fact of how long this has been going on. This just didn't start 4 years ago. This didn't start 10 years ago, 15. This crap started all the way back at least to 1871. That's where I started. And I know it goes back further because Tracy takes it back further. But for me, 1871 was a turning point in American history. And that was the start of us becoming a corporation and coming off of the original Constitution. So we were treated like I said, like a corporation. Now, like Laurel, I could talk about an hour about that stuff. But the amount of time that these evil people, they're very patient. They like to do things slowly to accomplish their goal. And the reason they like to do it slowly is so that, like one of the commenters on the channel just said, it's like frogs in the water. You know, you put a frog in the water, turn the heat up, it really doesn't notice it. They turn the heat up a little bit more, doesn't really notice it. And then the next thing you do, next thing that happens is the frog is dead. And so this is what these globalists have done. And there's so many events, the Titanic, the stock market crash, all the wars. I mean, yeah, we could go deep, but we don't want to go that. We don't. But that's the interesting thing for me is how long this has been going on, and right now it's there's a lot going on right now to take care of it. So I appreciate that question. Thank you.
Hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah. I guess you can hear me.
Yes. What's your name?
And I talked to you on your first program, and you put a lot of work, you and the girls, in the program, and I enjoy it. And I really hesitate to call in on something like this because I would rather be in agreement than be argumentative or cause any problems. I have done a lot of research on the New World Order for a long time. I'm not an authority on it. There's debate whether it exists or not. I think it does. I think that Satan's ruling the world, and his agenda is a one world government in contrast to the kingdom of God under Christ. But I don't want to get preachy. I could, but we don't go there on these programs. It would take a long time to go through this. But I do want to say that the similarities in language, in purpose, between the political world, or part thereof, the New World Order, and the Watchtower, I still am very confident that they have different views of the future. Whether they interpret the Bible right or wrong is another debate. The lady mentioned a minute ago depopulation. I just want to touch on that, and then I'll shut up and get off the phone.
Okay.
It's highly likely that this New World Order wants depopulation. There's 8 billion people, more or less, on the earth. Not enough places to live, enough jobs for people, enough food, because it's not distributed right, and everything's not distributed. So, in the future, the elites would probably like to have a great depopulation. Now, with the Watchtower, they want it depopulated too. But
Yeah.
I'm stating the obvious, I think. The difference is the destruction of the wicked, they visualize, and that would depopulate the earth to what the Watchtower wants. So, I know we know those things, and so I wanted, in paralleling the two together, if we were in a court of law trying to prove that they run parallel, I think we'd have a real hard time to accomplish that. So I don't want to ruin the show or anything like that. I really hesitate to call in and be disruptive. But I do want to give you my point of view on it. I know if I was in your shoes, I would welcome another point of view, and you were welcoming to me, and Rick is too. But I don't want to be disruptive. There's a lot more I could say, but I'll get off the phone. Other people want to talk. And thanks for taking my call, and thanks for your show, and so on. So thank you guys, and I'm going to get off the phone now. Thank you.
Thank you for your call, and I really do appreciate you expressing yourself. Tracy, you want to respond?
Yeah, I was going to say that, there is a huge thing that both the globalists and the Watchtower have in common. And this is one of the most important things is people that are going for the globalist view, they use the media as a way to manipulate people. Now, for the Watchtower, they use magazines, they use talks, they use videos. And so in those talks, those videos, that indoctrination, they have both love and fear. Now, that's the number one way you put somebody into hypnosis, and you get everybody in the same mindset. So people have that view of a utopia future that is needed, unless you go through them, you will not have it. Well, the globalists are doing the same thing. They're using the media to mass indoctrinate people to feel that things have to be a certain way, or you get attacked by the media if you disagree. And the amount of indoctrination, we have never seen anything like it. So in that aspect, I believe they're very much the same.
Yeah, and I do appreciate the call. And like I said before, I can have a conversation with anybody, and I will respect, someone who shares their opinion and does it in a respectful way. I have no problem with that. Now, does that mean that I will agree? No. If you bring some information that changes, the information that I have and refutes my research, then yeah, I would say, okay, well, maybe my stuff is wrong. However, when you say, in all due respect, with, going to court, in court, you have to present evidence. So what evidence have we dug for that proves that Watchtower is mirroring this globalist New World Order? We'll go back and listen to episode 2 that we did and got banned. You might be able to find it on SoundCloud, but we talked about, these 9-10 different things. Let me just get over here. These 9-10 different things we talked about last week. The depopulation agenda, breaking up families and the shunning, the class system, the totalitarianism, censorship, new light, apostate / conspiracy theorists, pedophilia. If I had to bring the evidence to court to prove that Watchtower is doing the same things that these people are doing, I could do it. And I could present a very good case. So that I'm not coming down on you, on the caller. I'm just saying this is how I feel. I disagree with you, but I'll respect you. And if you want to have a personal conversation, because I would like to talk to you, I'd love to have a personal conversation with you anytime you want to. And I think it'd be fun. So thank you. Thank you for your call.
I appreciate your response. It's very kind. I appreciate it. And right now, I enjoy your program and I take it all in. But for right now, we're disagree to disagree. But you're doing a really, really good job. And like I said, I didn't want to cause a bump in the road or anything.
No.
So I'll be listening the rest of the program, and you carry on. And thank you for your response, Jimmy.
Hey, what was your name? Oh, you're welcome. I was wanting to get your name, but okay, you're welcome. All right. Do we have any other callers?
I went to mute.
Okay.
Coat Hatfield. Yeah.
Coat? Ha-
His name is Kurt.
Yes, Kurt Hatfield.
Oh,
Yeah.
Kurt.
And Kurt, why don't you tell Jimmy? I mean, you have a very famous name. Hatfield and the McCoys. I know that people listening into the program tonight. There was a big feud that went on years ago. So, were you part of the Hatfields?
Oh yeah, that was my great grandfather, and we discussed a little bit on Six Screens, but one of these days maybe I can talk to Jimmy and give him all the details.
I would love to talk to you, buddy.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do. I know you don't want to pass your number around on this, and many people. There's a lot of people on here. But yeah, I'll find a way to get in touch with you. Maybe call Rick or something.
Yeah, send it.
I've got Rick's number here somewhere.
Yeah,
I
send.
have to look it up.
Yeah,
It's been a long time since I talked to Rick. But anyway, I really appreciate your time. I know there's other people wanting to talk, but thank you, Rick, for that introduction. Thank you for that. And I know other people's waiting to come on, so I don't want to tie up all the time here. So, and so I'll go back to mute, and thank you for taking the call. Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Thank you, Kirk. I like that guy.
Jim. I mean, what Kurt has is he has the personality, the persona, whatever you want to call it. He might not totally agree, but he's not getting into a big debate or argument with you guys, right?
And that is the point that we're trying to make here. There's so much information out there, and people have been skewed to believe so many different things. And in the days that we live in, the times that we live in right now, people have lost the art of communication. They forgot how to have a conversation with somebody and realize that it's okay if they don't agree with me. If I was still in the JW, okay, here's an example. If I was still in the JW mentality where everything that I said was correct and it was true and you can't dispute it, what would a Jehovah's Witness have done to Kirk if he would have said something against the Watchtower? They would have gone off on him and tell him how wrong he is and everything like that. They would have made personal attacks against him. That's what they would have done. So what I'm trying to show people is, and I've had many conversations with some, but you can have conversations with people and realize that people have different viewpoints. Now, is it cool when you get to a point and you're like, yeah, okay, we both agree on that? Then you build off of that. You find what you can agree upon to continue the conversation instead of finding something you disagree on and just ending it and not realizing how great of a conversation it could have been if your mind was open. Thoughts? Laurel?
Well, listen, you guys are listening. Go ahead. You're on with us. Go ahead.
Any more callers? Come on, call in.
Come on, you're with us. So we got a lot of people, Jimmy, coming in tonight. But I just got some thoughts. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just wondering if they would elaborate on the Georgia Guides this week with their demise.
Okay, so we did have Laurel's got this information. I think Laurel, you still with us? You still awake over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't understand. I didn't get the question.
She was asking if we could elaborate a little bit on the Georgia Guidestones.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, but before you start, Laurel, let me set this up. So we did say, during our production meeting, we wanted to have some backup information that we could present if we had a lull on the callers. And so the Georgia Guidestones was the subject that we chose to have some information on. And the reason why, here's the reason why, folks, is because when the Georgia Guidestones got blown up and taken down, when was that? Wednesday? Yeah, I think it was Wednesday. It was funny to me, well, not really funny, but I noticed that people had no clue what these things were. They just think it's a statue and a bunch of rocks, and oh, it doesn't mean anything. Why would anybody care? What's the big deal? And then they just dismiss it. And guess what? You dismiss it, you'll never know anything about them. So I was thinking that, yeah, maybe we need to have this as a backup subject, especially for this community that probably has no clue. There's some of you that do, but the majority of you probably have no clue what the Georgia Guidestones are. And it's very important to know what these things were. And I'll just say one thing. Do you know when this monument was dedicated? It was dedicated on March 22nd of 1980. All right. Why is that significant? March 22nd. What number is that? Tracy knows where I'm going with this. 322. What does that relate to? Skull and Bones. And who's involved in the Skull and Bones? We know George Bush Sr. and Jr. were all members of the Skull and Bones. If you don't know what the Skull and Bones is, go research it. So that's just a little point there. All right, Laurel, did you want to say some more on the Guidestones? You want to give us your spill on that?
Oh yeah, and also another thing that goes along with the Skull and Bones thing and their religion and how they use numerology and their numbers all mean something. If you look on a map, the Guidestones are exactly because these Luciferians, they believe in the number 6. They go by 666 is the devil's number, and 7 is the creator's number. So it just happened that the Guidestones are 666 point something
78.
miles. Yeah, point from the UN in a total straight line. If you go on the map, you put a ruler and you look at where the Guidestones were and you go to where the UN is, it's 666 miles. So they used their numerology in that. And what else?
I'll go ahead and say one other thing real quick. Going back to what Kirk said about depopulation agenda. Kirk, if you're still listening, and I know Laurel will probably get into this a little bit, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to take a quick break, and Laurel, you'll just take over for a second because I got to use the bathroom. But on these Guidestones, one of the first things it said, the very first thing it says, maintain humanity under 500 million people. That's what it says. So right there, depopulation agenda was literally written in stone, everyone. It's not a conspiracy that these people want to depopulate the earth. And go back and listen to episode 2 because we talk about other things that they do and use to help cause depopulation. But these Georgia Guidestones were 4 pillars and it had 8 different languages. And these Guidestones were supposed to survive the end of the world. And this was going to be the new guideline, or I guess you could call them the 10 Commandments of the globalist. That's what they wanted to do. It was written in stone.
Just like they were trying to mock the 10 Commandments.
Yes.
Because Moses he got the 10 Commandments on stone. He got 10 of them. So this was their answer to the Bible's 10 Commandments, and they had.
Laura, I'll be right back. Do what you got to do.
Okay. Yeah, they had the 4 granite slabs. And they each weighed 42,000. I said 4,000. 42,137 pounds. So those were not easy to take down. And they were in 8 languages. The languages being Arabic, Chinese, English, Hebrew, Hindi, Russian, Spanish, and Swahili. And then the message engraved on them was engraved through sandblasting. Nobody knows who. It was just a mysterious man that came and paid a company to engrave these huge pieces of granite, and they installed them, they had them put up, they paid for it, the guy disappeared. They figure he gave a fake name because they don't know who put it up. But the actual, I'll read you out what the 10 commandments of the New World Order are, and see if you can put that together with what the Watchtower believes. So the very first one is to maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. The second one is to guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. To me, that sounds Watchtower as well, because how many times have they been told not to have children? Third one is unite humanity with a new living language. So there, one language for everybody. And like we said last week, I got it in my notes somewhere, but if you look at last week's program, there was one of the Watchtowers from a few years back that they had said that the Watchtower in the new system were going to unite with one language. So they're the same again. Rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Number 5, protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Well, we've seen how just their courts are. And number 6 is let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. So the one world court there again. Just like I would say that would be like the 144,000 that think they're going to rule over all of us.
That's a good comparison.
That's very similar. Avoid petty laws and useless officials. We're taught, we were taught in Watchtower already to basically not have any respect for, I shouldn't say that. We were taught to have respect for the law, but always the organization came before that. So,
yeah.
And we see it happening in the world right now with all the people that are defunding the police and so on. You see that happening. So, they're saying useless officials right there.
Yeah. Whose definition of useless,
Yeah.
Who's going to define who the useless officials are?
Number 8 is balance personal rights with social duties. That could be something like the governing body are telling their followers now that their right after Armageddon is to spend 100 years burying the bodies.
That's their duty.
Yeah. And then prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. So you got to ask yourself, who is their infinite? They don't say God, that's for sure, but we know who their God is. And it says to not be a cancer on the earth, leave room for nature. And then it says again, leave room for nature. So basically that is telling me the same thing. And the Watchtower is saying, we're going to live in a beautiful paradise. You're going to have the animals. They're making nature sound so wonderful. And that's the 10th one here. They're making nature more important than humanity, basically.
Yeah, and the thing is, there'll be a lot of people out there that will say, well, all of that sounds really good and good for humanity. Okay, well, you were in Watchtower, right? How much good did they talk about the future was going to have? They told you good things, and then you found out that they were full of crap. Mm-hmm. Same thing here with these guide stones. It sounds good, but these folks, they know how to use loaded language to get to your brain and to control it. That's what they do. They are brainwashing people with loaded language. And so, yeah, that's what these guide stones have on them. Go ahead, Tracy.
I just had a funny thought, after Stephen Lett, he did the enemies of, that babies are the enemy of God. Suddenly they maybe decided the avoid petty laws and useless officials couldn't be done. So.
Yeah. So oh, go ahead, caller.
Go ahead. You on with us? Did you want to say something? Go ahead. Hit *6. Okay, Jimmy, proceed.
Okay.
They're just getting ready, so go ahead and proceed. They'll be on in a couple of minutes here.
Yeah. So these guide stones going down. Now you'll have to understand. I really don't want to get into the deeper stuff on this, but I will have to say, if you go back to episode 1 that we did, we talked about this being an information warfare, and that, oh God, where's my train of thought? And then there were white hats and black hats. We gave out that definition. Now I'll say, okay, this is just my perspective, my opinion. Decide for yourselves. I'm not telling you what to believe. Okay. So in my opinion, at first I thought this might have been a black hat operation. I thought there might be. And the reason I thought about that is because that maybe they were trying to do something to distract from all the other news that's coming out. We got a certain individual's laptop. We've got, the RVW thing. There's so much news that they would want to distract from. So that's the reason why I thought about that it might have been a black hat operation. But what got me thinking that it might have been a white hat operation is because how quick did they get rid of the evidence? If there was a bombing, don't you think there needs to be an investigation? And to be able to do an investigation, you need the material there. You need it there so you can investigate it. So they didn't want an investigation. So it's kind of like some of these schools that have been demolished because they're getting ready to demolish the one in Uvalde. Why? What are they trying to cover up? So the thing is this war, this information war, and we are, folks, like I said before, we are in World War III already. It's an irregular warfare. And I think that this was a message sent to the globalists that their agenda is going to fail, or it has failed. That's the thing. This game is already over. We're just seeing the moves play out. I can explain more about that later. I'm not going to go into it tonight. But yeah, I'm right now. I believe it was a white hat operation.
I found out. I just want to read one. Is somebody on the phone?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Debbie. I wanted to ask you. I was trying to get on the phone a minute ago to ask you when y'all were taking calls. What do you think the reason is for this to all be being planned when all these people are dead that started planning this? Are they supposed to be alive somewhere?
I can answer that.
Go ahead, Laurel.
They have a thing that the wealthy cryoponics, and I've been doing a lot of research on that, along with the resurrection hope that JWs do. And with the cryoponics, they take people and they freeze them when they die. And a lot of the elites.
They do that. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, a lot of the elites are spending the money. It's costing them millions of dollars to do this. And they keep their bodies frozen because they're hoping. When we get in deeper, you'll understand that we're so behind on technology that the elites have kept a lot of technology to themselves. And they're almost at the point that they have machines that can get into your brain and your thoughts and so on. So this I've got it written down, but I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Chiroponics. And, pardon?
I was thinking it was called cryonics. I knew about that.
And so a lot of them are really expecting, they have ways that we don't even know about, that they can live way longer than we do anyway. And they get their bodies frozen, and they're hoping that they can make a new body for them, and that their brain will still function, and they'll have all the memories and so on when they can bring them back in this new world order.
Wow. That's a rabbit hole I ain't gone down yet.
That they had ways of getting in their brains and in their minds. It's funny because I've been watching a show called Stitchers, and it's about someone, I can't think of what she's got, but she doesn't have emotion like the rest of us do. And when people are murdered or something, they have so many hours for her to get into their brains and know the last few minutes of their life as to who murdered them and why they got murdered.
Wow.
And then she bounces back and comes out of their mind. It's just, there's just so many things that we see should happen or seem like they could not happen. I mean, like, you know, when I was a kid, George Jetson was so, you know, a big cartoon. I grew up in the 75, I was baptized in 75 when I was 14. But, yeah, I was through that group, too. But when the Jetsons used to come on, we would talk about, and how cool would it be able to be able to see somebody when you're talking to them, you know, and lo and behold, we're there, you know.
Yep.
We can be in America and talking to somebody face to face in China, and somebody must have had that actual technology way back then that we're doing, you know, that we've got now. Of course, that's been a long time we've been able to do that. So all along, there's been somebody many steps ahead. They couldn't have cartoons about that if somebody hadn't already thought about it.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Exactly. That's why they call it, that's another part. I said that it's a religion to them. Part of their religion is they think that we're really stupid. And part of their religion is they have to tell us every move before they make.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they called it television. And there are a lot of programs on TV, a lot of programs.
Programs.
Programming our minds. And there are a lot of programs that they are warning us of what they have and what is happening. And we've just gone along with it, you know, watching that TV all these years and letting ourselves get programmed.
And another word, broadcast. Cast has to do with putting spells on people. A broadcast. These people are evil.
Oh, man.
Yeah, these people are evil.
So cool. I mean, it's terrible, but in a way, it's, how stupid have we been, you know? And sometimes I thought maybe we're like the farm, you know, the ants to the aliens, and they're just harvesting us or using us to do their bidding or whatever.
Well, if not the aliens, definitely the elites. Yeah.
I think the elites are like aliens.
Word alien into elite. I mean, they're similar.
Yeah. I can't argue with that one.
Well, they all keep the same bloodline.
Letters. They use numerology.
Yeah. They use
alien elite are 5 letters each. That would make 10. 10 makes a whole number. 10 means complete. Well, it did in the Watchtower anyway.
Yeah.
Or y'all in when that's what it meant.
Yeah, I was in. Yeah, when they did the numbers, what the numbers meant. Yeah.
Yeah, and to say something, you said something 3 times for emphasis. That we learned that on the ministry school.
Yep. And that's what
I often put 3 exclamation points at the end of a sentence is for emphasis.
Yeah, and the media does that. That's why they repeat. They get their talking points at 4 a.m. and they tell everybody, all right, everybody, you got to tell everybody this story and you got to run with it. And if you tell enough people, they'll start to believe it's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they do. And see, and here's the thing, folks. Debbie, thank you for the call. I really appreciate it. Did you have another comment?
Oh, no, I'm just listening now.
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
mute myself.
Okay. So this is the thing, folks. These people have a playbook. They have an agenda. What we've tried to do and figure out is, what is their agenda? Why are they doing what they're doing? And what can we do to counter it? You know, there's a lot of folks out there that say, well, I have no power. I have no way of doing it. No. Everyone watching this program or listening to this program has power. Your power is your voice. And once you understand the playbook and you do the research and you realize, oh my God, I got to tell other people about this, because their biggest fear are people talking about this. This is why
Censorship.
This is why we get censored. They don't want us talking about it. Are you starting to see? Are we starting to put a little corner of the puzzle together? You know, that's what I'm trying to do here. Laurel?
Oh, that's all I said. Yeah, I said hence censorship. Their greatest fear is people waking up because there are way more of us than there are of them.
Yes, absolutely.
And they're not smart people. I mean, they're all are interbred. They think that they have a special bloodline. So they don't marry for love. They marry to keep the blood in the family. So they have a special bloodline. So they're not the smartest people in the world. They just have the money and the power. And we just have to be smart enough to stand up to them. And once the world wakes up to what they're doing, and it seems to be right now, if you look at what's happening
It is.
Sri Lanka and Sri Lanka, the Netherlands, Canada, my country, all these places, people are waking up, and we have the power. They don't, and that was their fear, and that's why they kept us censored.
Yep, exactly. Tracy?
I have another question.
Yeah, go ahead.
If I may. Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I write a lot, and I wrote an article the other day that I was going to post myself on Facebook, and well, it was the July 4th. It was on July 4th, actually, I keep telling my daughter and my grandkids, it starts with one person, one voice. I said the worst crime in the world is to know something that's wrong and not do something about it, or something, basically what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I wrote this article about how unjust something was and how it could be corrected. And it made so much sense, at least it did to me. And, I'm the bomb when it comes to writing.
There you go. I like the confidence.
But anyway, I started to read it to my family, and my daughter said, why do you just like to argue? And I'm like, what do you mean? She says, you always have to say something about everything. I said, because I finally have a voice and I mean to use it. And I've wasted 50 years not using it. I mean, I've always talked a lot, but this now I can speak freely.
Yep.
But now I can't speak freely because we're being censored.
Yep.
But I mean, what do we do? Okay, y'all are speaking out. How do you manage to do that and think to stay safe? Because I've done some stuff and known some stuff that wasn't so safe, and I wasn't so safe, that I still have more to say that I want to say, and I feel like I should say it.
Well,
So
here's the thing.
How do y'all get the courage up to do what you're doing?
Miss Debbie, okay, first off, thank you for that. I really enjoyed that comment. I like you. I like your spirit. I like your spunk. For me, to answer your question, my answer to that is I don't care what people think of me. I don't care, because I spent too much of my life being a people pleaser. And it's gotten to the point, and where did the people pleasing get me? Nowhere. It had me feeling depressed. It had me feeling like I'm not worthy. So for me, I speak out, and I just don't care. I mean, literally, that's why I'm streaming. I'm streaming this video right now on YouTube. I understand why Rick made the decision he made. He's had a platform for 16 years and he doesn't want to receive a strike. I get that. I respect that. But for me, I don't care. And that's why it's streaming on YouTube right now. And I will continue to speak out because I feel like I have enough evidence and enough proof and truth to back up the stuff that I'm saying. And when you got the truth on your side, propaganda is going to fall completely apart.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess my situation is a lot different. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening.
Okay, stop. My phone did something. Anyway, my situation's a lot different. I'm probably older than you. And I'm handicapped. But there's a whole lot I can't do. I can do a whole lot in one aspect, but not in others. Just being disabled, and I would like to take the dis out of disabled, because I am able to do a lot. I just can't do everything, but nobody can.
Right.
And I don't have my daughter and grandkids to my brother's 1,000 miles away. He can't do anything to help me, and I have to depend on somebody else for a lot of stuff. And I gotten in close with some people in a church, and that I can't depend on them for,
Miss Debbie, maybe I can,
out to the garbage can, because if there's been rain, my wheelchair will sink in the mud.
right.
And there's so many little things that you don't think of until you end up in a stupid wheelchair.
I get that, Miss Debbie.
Not for me, okay? Everything's just a new normal when it happens in your life. And you just have to pick up and go from there. But I don't know where to go from this normal. Because this ain't normal. It's just, and honestly, I guess I got something hanging up where I can see it right now. It says we walk by faith, not by sight. And I'm thinking, do I just not have enough faith that God's going to take care of me? Well, people die every day, tragically, all kinds of ways. and I'm not scared of death. I just don't want to suffer, you know. I feel like I've done enough of that, you know, and of course we've all done enough of that, but you know, so actually fear, even though fear is just false evidence appearing real, it still carries a lot of power.
It does.
Far as still controlling you.
It
I
does.
just don't feel like God's going to strike me dead every time I turn around.
Well-
It's my daughter.
Well, Miss Debbie, I'll let Laura wants to comment on that. I'll just say this to you real quick, Miss Debbie. You sound like you really do care about people. I can hear that, and you want to do more. But this is what I would suggest. Do what you have to do to protect your own energies. You take care of yourself. And when the opportunity does present itself, like this evening, the opportunity presented itself for you to speak out and say something, then you'll be able to know when the universe is telling you when you got to step up and say something. You know, but just take care of yourself first. You know, there's plenty of digital soldiers, there's plenty of folks out there getting this message out. And so don't worry, we're fighting. We're fighting for folks like you that want to do more, but for some other reason or another can't. So you just do what you got to do, take care of yourself.
Well, then I'll just write a book and put someone else as the author.
Hey,
That's
hey, I tell you what, if you write stuff, you can send it to me and I'll get it out there for you.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say you got the gift of writing. Writing lasts way longer than words.
Yeah.
I mean, once you say something, it's out in the universe. But if you write it down, I mean, you've got that gift. I would just keep with your writing.
I tell you what, Miss Debbie, if you can come up and write some stuff, what I will do is I will have a little feature that we will introduce on the big picture called Wisdom from Debbie. And we can read on air what you write. How's that sound?
I write about everything. Does that matter? I wouldn't be writing just about.
You can write whatever you want to and send it to me. And if it fits with what we want to do that night, we'll do it. So we'll help you get your voice out.
I love to do that.
Do it. Give Rick your information.
And then you keep everything I write, and we'll press it all together and make it a real book.
Then we can do that, Miss Debbie.
Sounds like a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, Miss Debbie, thank you for the call. And like I said, give your information to Rick so he can send it to me, okay?
Yeah, I think Rick's got my information.
Okay. All right, cool.
I'll send it to him again, though, to give to Jimmy Bell.
Yep. Jimmy
I
Bell.
love your show, Jimmy. And I love you ladies, too. Y'all do great, and I respect you so much for all this hard work y'all are doing.
We appreciate
I
it.
just think it's wonderful.
We appreciate
Thank
that,
you
Miss
so
Debbie.
much.
Thank you. All right, folks. So we got about, we're coming up on the 11 o'clock hour. Yeah, we did start late, but that's okay. I don't want to run over into Gail's show too much, so we need to go ahead and wrap this up. Is there anybody that's dying to make one last comment or ask one last question on the line? Speak up now.
I don't have a question, but I have a comment.
Go ahead.
This is Lori.
Hey, Lori, go ahead. Lori.
I just want to say to Miss Debbie and to everybody, we are all living at such a time as this, and we have nothing to lose by speaking up. We have a lot to lose if we don't. So do what you can, right, if that's what you can do. We all have our own ways of doing things, and that's what this is all about. All the people have to work together to expose the evil that's going on, and this is when we have to do it. There is no other time.
You're exactly right, Lori. And that's why we have to get rid of these things that divide us. Different little social issues, little political issues, that they're all meant for division. So when we unite, we don't have to agree on everything, but when we unite and use our voices for good and help others understand what in the world's going on, Do you know how quick we can change this stuff? There's been some massive changes here in the last 6 months. A lot of people don't see it because they don't see the big picture. But let's just say humanity is winning right now, and you're going to see a lot more. All right.
Good things are coming.
Yes, absolutely. And this ain't no watchtower. Oh, it's right around the corner. That's not what we're even talking about. So don't even go there, please. Tracy, do you have any final comments for the show tonight?
No, I really loved Debbie's comments. I thought that was just precious. And, she has my heart, the fact that she's depending on people that have been manipulated by the Watchtower. And this is why we have to speak out. We have to break those chains so that people can be free to love who they want without, pain or suffering.
Yes, absolutely. Laurel?
I'm the same. I admire that. Debbie was her name?
Yeah.
Yeah, I admire that. And I just say right. And when things are over, eventually everybody is going to see what is happening.
Mm-hmm.
And if she's writing everything down, I know it's really hard. I've had to go through a lot with my family. I've lost friends. People think we're crazy for speaking out. We get a lot of feedback, and a lot of it's not good for what we're doing, but we do it because we want to help people and we know it's right. So what anybody can do it. As long as we work together, that's all it takes.
Absolutely. All right, folks. Well, that is going to be our episode for this evening. Thank you for tuning in to The Big Picture. To find other information that we have done, let me go ahead and give you some quick links or quick references of where to go. Go back and watch episode 1 of The Big Picture. We talk about definitions, the New World Order, the Deep State, white hats, black hats, all that. Episode 2, you're going to have to go to my YouTube channel and look under where I have the program alert for episode 3. I do have a link in that description for episode 2. It's on SoundCloud. And so when I upload this video that I'm streaming right now, I'll put the link in it there so you can find episode 2. So you can have episodes 1, 2, and 3. The reason I say this is because we're trying to build a narrative. If you missed the first class, you got to make up and figure out what happened. So that's the way we're going to be doing this video, or the big picture. If you want to learn more about the Great Reset, we did an episode on the Roundtable about the Great Reset. And just go to YouTube, look up the Roundtable show, and I think we got like 4 episodes on there, so you may want to watch them too and check them out. We go into deeper on some stuff. So you can always follow me on Facebook, my Facebook page. I put information out daily about what's going on in this world, and I am open to taking suggestions on what you folks would like us to talk about next. So I usually try to guide the way I do the shows on what is interesting to people at the time. So I want to thank you for being here. I hope folks that can now see that we're not a conspiracy show. We're here to give facts. We're here to give truth. We're here to help. We are here to help free your mind, because that's the thing. Fearless minds prevail. And that's why we do what we do. So thank you for watching this evening. Rick, let me turn it back over to you, buddy.
Well, Jim, I have to tell you, I'm here at the control panel, and, I see things that I've got 5 computers going here. We're on a number of different platforms tonight. So the word is getting out. But what I look for here, one of the main things I look for here at the control panel is I look for retention rate. Now, your retention rate was very good tonight. My goodness, that means that people listening in the beginning, they stay right through the whole program. So those are the things I look for. So you guys all did a good job. You have a very good, you guys come across as very academic, seriously. You're quite the panel, and you're doing a great job. Jimmy, Laurel, Tracy, the people love you here. From what I can gather, all of the comments I'm getting coming in here tonight. So everything looks good. You guys keep waving the flag of victory.
Thank
Can
you,
I
Rick.
just say one thing?
Yeah, go ahead,
I
Laura.
want to thank Lori too, Lori Bell in the background. She's part of our team too, and she's in the background looking up information as we're talking. So
Yeah, I just
thank
want.
you, Lori, too.
Yeah, I just want to say that publicly, I appreciate Lori Bell. We're no relation, folks, but I appreciate Lori Bell. I appreciate Laurel and Tracy. I'm so glad we were able to put this team together because they're so smart. They have so much knowledge. I mean, they're blowing up my Facebook Messenger, and I'm like, oh my God. Okay, well, there's that. And there's that. They are so smart. I love them. So, ladies, thank you for making your time to be here and work with me on this. I really do appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate you too, Jimmy.
All right.
Happy to be here, Jimmy.
All right. Thank you. All right, Rick. I guess we're done.
Well,
Thank you, Rick.
Well, we're going. Well, you're all welcome. We're going to After the Storm. Now, we have your friend Jimmy coming on. His name is Diasis. I know you know him. So
Yeah, I know Diaz is coming on the next show.
on next. And so we're going to, well, it looks pretty good. So we're going to get Gail on. But thank you, guys. Keep waving the flag of victory. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
All right. Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.
All right, everyone. So just hang in with us. We have got a number of programs still coming up here tonight. We've got After the Storm. That's going to be coming up here very, very shortly. And then, of course, we've